So today I have the pleasure of talking to Lee. Lee, please go ahead and introduce yourself and your company to our community.
So my name's Lee Robinson. I'm managing director of a company called New Servo Repairs, and we are a specialist company that repairs industrial automation equipment 24/7. So it's basically anything that makes a piece of machinery move, we will repair, whether it's industrial servo motor, industrial induction motors, electronics, robotics. So we cover quite a span of large blue chip companies down to tier 1, tier 2 suppliers, down to sole traders really. So it's quite a diverse industry we're in.
Fantastic. And how long has your company done that for, Lee?
We've been in business for 23 years. So turn of the millennium is when the business started. Started with very modest beginnings. It was actually my father that started the business with his business partner. It all started in his garage, and today we're near 20 strong staff, 4 industrial units, and growing quite quickly. So it's quite a nice development we've had over the last 23 years.
That sounds fantastic. And when did you join the business, Lee?
I joined the business, seems like 5 minutes ago, but a decade ago. Obviously, my father was, he's the owner, so I sort of got pulled in by him. Initially, as the sales development manager, and then I moved into a commercial director post. And then since he's retired out of the business, I've took the helm as managing director.
So you've had a lot of experience there in different parts of a business. What would you say has been sort of your number one learning over that time?
I suppose it's been acquiring how to apply yourself to different areas of the business. So what I did is that you've really got to draw on what the experts in those areas. So I spent some time with the manager of the motor repair shop to understand more about what he does, the manager of the electronics repair shop to understand what he does. I had a pretty good grip on the commercial side, I feel anyway. And then obviously, you know, getting mentorship from other people in the business that were senior, that had been, you know, sort of managing certain areas of the business as well, certainly stood me in good stead. And it's led to a real team atmosphere throughout the company. So everything's, I sort of don't sit at the top and direct decisions downward. It's a real community decision on how things develop, and everybody gets an input, and that's quite the way I like to run it, really.
You know, I love that. There's nothing like the knowledge and experience of people actually, you know, hands-on doing the role, and yeah, working through the company, all the different areas, understanding their challenges as well. So yeah, team culture is massive, as you said there. So thank you for sharing that. What would you say has been one of your biggest successes since being in the business?
The biggest success I would say is when I started, we were basically a industrial motor repair company, really. And I saw an opportunity to develop an electronic repair side to the business, and that was something I really had hands-on involvement with, from designing the workshops, to recruitment, to going out and getting the work for the shop, and it's really thrived, so much so that in a sense we have too much work, really. So one of our biggest challenges is actually getting staff for that workshop, because it's obviously very specialist, but we've managed to take on some big competitors in the market and really compete, and by, you know, giving essentially a really good service and really good quality to our work, which has been a challenge, but something we've grabbed with both hands, really. So I would have to say that, really.
That sounds fantastic. And yeah, an opportunity there that you saw. You mentioned about team development in terms of the new areas and skill sets. I'm going to just kind of touch on COVID because that had a massive impact, and we're starting to really shape our businesses now in the past couple of years. Whereby we're seeing some hybrid working, we're seeing adoptions of new processes. What would you say there was something during that time that you've taken and you still do today as part of that period?
Okay. It was really challenging for our business, actually, because as you can imagine, I can't get engineers to repair things at home. So we had to really put on a sort of split 24-hour shift to keep people safe and ensure that we could still meet the demands of the market and that our workers were able to work effectively. So in terms of our business, we probably haven't kept that much in place of how things were running back then, because it's just not physically possible. We do, I do sort of appreciate with the admin staff, there was obviously home working and things, and where possible, where it suits people's lifestyles or childcare and things like that, we still do a lot of the admin staff are able to do both remote working and coming into work. So it's probably more on the administrative side, really. We've kept similar to when we were running through COVID, but yeah, it was certainly a challenging time for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I can imagine, but it's something that you've just highlighted there that I think is really important, is the adaptability to suit the nature of the role, the person, and the job that they fulfill. So you hear a lot of this hybrid working in some situations now, but I think you said something really key there that is to be considered, and that's the nature of what it is that you do. So thank you for sharing that. Where are you going? What excites you about your business? Where do you see the business going moving forwards?
Well, it's actually very exciting times at the moment. The level of growth we've experienced over the last 2-3 years, and it doesn't seem to be stopping, really. Our aim is to double our turnover within 5 years. It's going to be a challenge, and essentially we're quite unique in we sort of do the whole process of what we do here, whereas sort of our competition sort of cherry picks certain areas of service. We're quite unique, so it means that growth is absolutely on the cards. The challenge is just getting more people and good people, and so that's an approach that we have to look at from both the trainee point of view, with young people and apprentices, and also finding good engineers as well, which is certainly a challenge, but something we are starting to meet head on. It's very exciting times at the moment for us in terms of the future and growth. Absolutely.
And are you seeing, just an aside question actually, because I'm interested, but are you seeing that people are perhaps where they were sending equipment to other places, other destinations, are you seeing more people using British knowledge, British trade, British experience to help them with what it is that you do?
Yeah. I mean, I think it would all be fair in saying Brexit has not really worked out. But one of the good things about Brexit for us is because of the challenges our customers meet with ordering replacement parts from the continent, it means that we essentially get more repairs, because what they would typically order they now can't get readily available, or it's challenging to get into the country. So that's enabled more repair growth for us. So, and on the back of that as well, the work we do here, you do see in the continent, but again, it's sort of quite disparaging in certain countries. The one regret and the shame about sort of everything about leaving the EU really is we were actually starting to make headway into certain European countries, Romania being one. We were getting quite a bit of work from there, and unfortunately, just because of the sheer logistics of things, it's put a stop to it really. But yeah, certainly, I've always been a big believer in the way the Brits manufacture and make and repair things. And we obviously deal with a lot of high-end manufacturers that are British, and you've seen growth across the board for them as well, just because the quality is so good, and the ability to think outside the box has also been a big pull for their customers.
Yeah, fantastic. I love that. Buy and do business in the UK where possible. So thank you for sharing that. I was just interested in the insight there. How would you say you've changed since becoming the MD?
Ooh, I've certainly got greater, if that's possible. But I would, I suppose, I feel a greater sense of responsibility now, because you sort of, decisions you make can affect everybody that works for you. So there's certainly an air of, an onus of responsibility on my shoulders these days, where I do feel, the staff we feel like quite a little bit of a family here. So even little things about things that are going on outside of work, you get more interested in, where when you're a sales manager, you wouldn't necessarily get that insight, and making sure that your staff's well-being is sort of top of your priority actually. That's the way I certainly approach things. You sort of have to, if you've got people in a good place, then they're going to produce good work. So that's always the approach I've had, and that's probably the change I feel in myself, that I'm really interested in what's going on with these people outside of these four walls, so to speak. So I would probably say that, yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing. And just finally, what piece of advice might you give to someone starting out in their role in becoming MD?
I would say the key thing is to understand your business, and that sounds quite simplistic and obvious, but also draw on everybody that works there, from people at the bottom right the way through, and don't try and avoid going in there with a I know everything attitude. Certainly take time, take stock, and get opinions from your staff, because actually some of the best ideas that have come out of this place have not come from me. So surround yourself with good people is an old adage, I know, but it's definitely something I think is really good advice, and people really need to take stock of.
Yeah, fantastic, Lee. Lee, thank you so much for joining us today.
No,
good luck and to your future success.
No, thanks very much.